this is what you're going to get out of today's practice. You are going to set the rest of your day really on a great course. Your one and only today, the one and only day that you have, this one and only hour, make it work for you. Because you know, today will never ever come again. This hour will never ever come again. So make the best of it and make it joyful and make it work for you. I'm Jan, this is 316 Yoga. This is Piper, that's Bonnie. And this is your yoga from home. That's the best part. You're doing it your way. The no intimidation zone. You do it your way, 100% your way. We do this practice every day for 1 hour. It's 1 hour. If you can stick around for the whole hour, great. You'll be better for it. If it's only 10 minutes, that's fine too. You'll be better for it. All right, just do what you can with what you got. Every day our practices are different. Every day we're here. I hope you are too. You can do every one of our practices as well because you modify them. That's the big thing. I say it all the time because it's so important. You modify it to make it work for you. You do what is right for your body. Always do what's right for your body. Today you might have a little ache or pain in the shoulder and you might say, I'm skipping our thread the needle pose. And then just have a cup of coffee, sit and rest, or go into child's pose. Take another variation or just another pose that speaks to you. As you, here's the word for today, think about this for a moment, it's indulge. Indulge, what does that mean? It means to satisfy and gratify. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Satisfy and gratify your needs today in your mind, your body, and your soul. We're going to use props to do that, to make everything accessible. Two props I always use are the two yoga blocks, nice and thick. I don't know, maybe they're 4 inches thick. You can buy them online. I've also suggested recently that maybe you get a half block. It's maybe 3 inches thick, so really not a half, but close to it. 3/4 of a block, but it's smaller. It allows you to do poses, taking them to a greater depth or taking them more gently. You'll see. Well, I'm going to use one today. An eye shade I always like to have. This one's filled with lavender and little buckwheat. It's a little bit of weight on the eyes for final Shavasana. A little hand towel can double as that, and a hand towel you can slip it under your knees in some of our poses. I've got a strap and a resistance band today. You can have those things, or if you don't have them, that's fine. You can still do the practice because you modify. But those items are inexpensive and you could buy those. You could even use the belt to your bathrobe to double as the strap. And some water. That's it. Let's start. Okay. Here you are. I'm glad you're here. Let's begin by opening up. All right, today's practice, mobility and flexibility. Opening up. So come on down and take it slowly. Come on down to your mat. As you come down here, just kind of feel what's going on. Oh, I'm stiff here, I'm sore here, this doesn't feel so great. Observe it and lock in a stress number. Rate it. Come on down to fully reclined. Enjoy the getting here, enjoy the journey. Spread your feet a little bit wider, maybe a little bit wider than your mat. Arms go up overhead, come into pentacle pose. You've got that stress number on a scale of, 1 to 5, 1 to 10. That is locked in your mind. Remember it. And now let everything go. All right, feet are spread, arms are lifted. Just think of looking like a big letter X. Take a deep breath in through your nose and a big sighing breath out through your mouth. Just let it go. That's kind of one of the hardest things to do. Just be on your mat, be present in this moment. Don't worry about what you've got to do later today or what happened earlier today. Let it go. It doesn't matter. You're here to nourish and refresh your body and find mobility and flexibility in what you got. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Feel the deflation of your shoulders, your belly as you really take a full exhale. Take it so full that you are imagining your navel going back to touch your spine. Big breath in, belly pooches up like a beach ball. And a big breath out. Feel the temperature of the room around you. Feel the mat beneath you. Just come into this time for just you. Big breath in. can stay here longer if you like. Remember, it's your choice. You customize, you plug and play, you do the poses that feel best for you. Maybe you'd like to stay here a little bit longer because this is feeling nice in your hips, your shoulders. It's just a relaxation, resetting pose. I'm going to move into a little bit of a seated warm-up to begin with a thunderbolt pose. If you'd like to join me, float your arms on down, legs back together, and make your way up to a seated position. In your seated position today for a thunderbolt, I'm going to come to my knees, sit back on my heels, and get a nice big stretch in the quadriceps. How does that feel for you? Take a block, place it in front of you, and put your hands on your hips. Take a deep breath in, and a deep shoulder softening breath out. When you're ready, you can keep your eyes closed if you like. Tee out your arms to the side. Just let them float on up. And then once they're teed out, bring them high up overhead. Maybe let the palms touch. A little bend in the elbows might feel good. As you exhale, sweep the arms on down by your side. So marry the breath to the arm movement. Inhale, arms go up, up, up as high as feels right for you. And as you exhale, the arms drift on down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Soften the shoulders. One more time, up, up, up. And then down, down, down. How do your shoulders feel? Soften in them. In fact, circle them a little bit to the back of your room. Shoulder shrugs up and back, let it go. Finish. Arms down by your sides. Your shoulders are over your hips. Your neck is long. Lengthen up. Now let's flow a little bit in a forward fold and a baby back bend. Hinge forward here, keeping your arms down by your sides. That block, aim to bring your head to it. If you don't have a block, totally fine. You know, maybe you bring your forehead down to the ground and be at peace. Here's where you could use a half block too. You could switch from your full block, thinking, oh, I can get a little bit lower, but not quite to the ground. Maybe that's where you use a half block. Maybe you stack your blocks. Just rest your forehead. Arms down by your sides, fingers reaching toward your feet, palms face up, shoulders relaxed. Breathe deeply. Inhale. Come on up, up, up. Shoulders over your hips. Hands plant down as a little kickstand. Keep your knees down and lift your chest up to the sky. Let your chin go up to the sky as well. Exhale. Take it forward again. Arms down by your side, shoulders relaxed. Maybe scoot the blocks a little bit further forward as you imagine finding greater space between your vertebrae. Big breath in, big breath out. Inhale, come on back up. Hands down by your sides on the ground. Lift out of your chin. Lift out of your chest. One more time, take it forward. Big breath in, big breath out. Maybe scoot your blocks a little more forward. So maybe just the bridge of your nose is on your block, or maybe the block's even higher. Soften your jaws, don't clench your teeth. Let it go. Press on back up, seated position. You're on your knees, shoulders over your hips. Bring a block, one block to one side. If you got two blocks, bring one to each side. Lengthen up through your arms, Tadasana pose, extended mountain in the arms. reach, stretch. Remember, put the bend in your elbow if that feels better. Bring one arm down to the block. The arm that's lifted, let it cross the midline of your body. Chin away from your chest. That foundational arm, maybe bend the elbow a little bit more. If you don't have a block, that's fine. Your hand can be flat on the ground. So your top shoulder, the arm that's lifting, bring the shoulder back to the back of the room a little bit more. Don't you feel it? Right in your side. Chin away from your chest as well. And using that foundational arm, maybe bend the elbow a little bit, keeping your bottom and your knees equally pressed into the mat. Stretch it out a little farther. And then slowly finish. Straighten the foundational elbow. Let both arms float up to the sky. Take a big inhale as you find length in your spine. And then the exhale. Bring the foundational arm down, either to the block or nothing at all. Lift out of the extended fingers. Cross the midline of your one and only fabulous body. Chin away from the chest. Top shoulder back. Oh, big stretch on this side. Do you like the block or not? You decide. Key is making it work for you. Stretch, reach a little farther. Bring that shoulder back a little more. Chin away from the chest, reach. How's that foundational elbow? Scoot it on down. Reach. How's it feeling? Big stretch. Slowly bring it on back up to center. Do it slowly. Lift both arms up. Take a little teeny back bend. Then float your arms down by your sides. All right, shoulders are nice and loose. You got lots of space there. Let's do a big hug. Tee out your arms. Give yourself a big hug. Let the arms cross, let the elbows cross at the midline of your body. Reach your hands towards your spine. Act as if your fingertips are going to touch your spine. Now you're all squished in here. Let's expand the shoulders to the side of the room. Nice, tight, big hug. Maybe eyes are closed. Feel the goodness in your upper back. Feel the expansion in your upper back. Hug nice and tightly. When you're ready, tee out the arms again. You can keep your eyes closed. Remember what arm was on top. Open up the arms, backs of the hands to the back of the room. Chest is open. It feels like fish pose, doesn't it? And then when you're ready, hug yourself again. Put the opposite arm on top. Squeeze tightly. And then expand the shoulders to the sides of your room. Even a nice big hug feels good in and of itself. Let's finish up. Bring your hands down by your sides. Maybe bring your hands to your thighs. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. Soften up through your shoulders. Come to stillness here. And then if you'd like, you can start to turn your head from left to right, right to left. Maybe you can work your head into circles. Neck circles, just feeling the space in your neck on top of your shoulders. If you're doing circles, work them in the other direction. But you take this to what feels right for you. Neck circles don't feel right for everybody. For some, it induces vertigo, and it just might not feel right. I don't know if you've had neck surgery or, what's going on in your body today. Do what feels good. Do what feels right. Move that neck. Even if you lift your chin up to the sky like we did earlier, feel the goodness in the front of your neck. Tuck your chin to your chest. Head left, head right, circles. And then ultimately work it back to just lengthening up through the crown of your head. Big breath in. Big shoulder softening, breath out. When you're ready, let's come out of this. How did your thighs do? How did your knees do? Pretty good, I bet. You had your mind off of them. All right, let's come into a wide-legged child's pose. For this wide-legged child's pose, spread your knees. Bring a block or two or three or however many you want to the top of your mat. We're going to do child's pose here in an extended variation just for a moment or two as you stretch it out and feel good. Then we're going to take it to a tadpole and a frog. All right, so here's what you do. Reach your arms long to the top of your mat. Sink your forehead down. You could use a block if you want. Maybe you find you got some more mobility here because you've stretched out already. Maybe bring your forehead down to the ground. Your belly's between your thighs. Fingers are reaching long. Knees are spread kind of to the edges of your mat. Big toes are touching. Get your breath under control, taking deep inhales and exhales. Maybe just in and out of your nose, if you like that. You decide. Okay, so here's an extended child's pose. Let's take it to tadpole so that you take it a little further by widening your knees. So press on up a little bit. Spread your knees a little bit wider. You know, if it doesn't feel good having your knees off of your mat, you could put a towel under them, or you could turn 90 degrees. So the knees have lots of space on your mat. Knees spread wide, big toes touch, hips back to the heels, reach. Reach farther through your fingers, maybe even press your hands a little more into your mat. Tailbone to the back of the room. Now, if you like, work your toes a little further away. That's your frog pose. So work the toes a little bit away. Oh, you feel it in the upper inner thighs, in your groin. Take it to what feels pleasantly challenging. How's that? But if it hurts, you know, back out of it. Take it back, peel it back a layer. Push into your hands, tailbone to the back of the room. You can stay here if you like, but I'm going to press on up, and I'm going to do some little frog push-ups. So adjust your feet and your legs so they're a little more comfortable, bringing your big toes back to touch, knees come in a little bit. Arms are up near the blocks, and you're going to hinge your weight forward, bringing your shoulders over your wrists. Now let's do some little frog push-ups. All right, I'm going to scoot the blocks a little higher, and I'm going to aim to bring my forehead or my nose or lips or whatever down to touch that block. So you're bending your elbows, keeping your toes touching, letting your nose come to the block. Maybe you've got a couple blocks stacked and you decide, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to remove a block and come down a little bit lower. Maybe you say, I'm not going to use any blocks at all, and bring my forehead, my nose, my chin down to the mat. Maybe you do a couple of those and say, I want to reintroduce a block. A half block would be nice to introduce because you're going further than the one block, but not all the way to the ground. So you decide what you like to do as you build strength in your upper body with these little frog push-ups. Let's finish up there. Send your hips back to your heels. This child's pose is going to feel mighty nice. Reach your fingers longer to the top of the mat. Maybe walk one hand, then the other as you sink your chest more down to your mat. You can reintroduce a block if you want. Big breath in, big breath out. Maybe move one hand a little higher to the top of your mat. Maybe slip the other hand to meet it a little bit higher to the top of your mat. Really getting into the shoulders, really finding the stretch here. Maybe one more reach through one set of fingers, just a 1/4 inch is a lot. Then the other one moves up too. Maybe you find yourself pushing your whole forearms into the mat. Push your hands into the mat. Imagine your tailbone going further back to the back wall. Let's press out of this. Come on up. Slide your hands under your shoulders. How are you doing? Let's do cat-cow now. All right, how do your shoulders feel? Just take a second and move your shoulders. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? All right, wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Cat-cow pose. When you're ready, tops of the feet are on the mat. Press hard into your mat with your feet in your hands. Lengthen through your tailbone and the crown of your head. For cat pose, exhale the air out of your lungs. Navel touches the spine, tucking your chin to your chest, arching your back up, up, up to the sky. Tailbone, tuck it under even more. Inhale, opposite pose, cow pose. Lift your tailbone up and the crown of your head up. So think of how you're moving your neck here. Exhale, chin tucks, tailbone tucks. Inhale, cow, chin lifts, tailbone lifts. Do a couple of these, marry them to your breath. How does it feel for you? I think it feels pretty good to move, and it feels really good to move your spine. So important. When you're ready, finish up. Neutral tabletop. Extend your right leg long. Press the ball of your foot into the mat. Push it hard. Push it hard. Feel the stretch all up that right leg, especially in the calf. Now lift your right leg up, cross it over the midline of your body. You're squeezing high in the upper inner thighs. Place the top of the right foot down on the left side. Look over your left shoulder. Look back to your foot, maybe even to your knee, maybe to your bottom. When you're ready, sweep that extended right leg around, bring it around to about hip height or wherever feels right for you. Planting the sole of the foot, lifting the right arm up to the sky. Breathe, take a twist. Maybe the fingers go all the way up to the sky. Maybe you can take them a little farther back. Finish. Hand comes down, leg comes back to the starting position. With the other leg, extend the left leg long. Press the ball of the foot into the mat. Push into the earth. Feel the stretch in the calf. We'll take this calf stretch even greater in a little bit. Cross the midline of your body. Top of the left foot is down on the mat on the right side. Push into your hands. Look over your right shoulder. Look back to your toes. Look back to your bottom, or look back to your knee. You decide. Big breath in and big breath out. All right, you know what to do. Sweep this left leg around to about hip height or so. Place the sole of the foot down, left arm reaches high up to the sky. Look up to the left hand. Maybe let the left hand cross the midline of the body as you open up a little more. And then finish. Hand comes down, knee comes back to meet it. You are now back into your neutral tabletop. Let's pull the cat's tail. Lift your right knee up, 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 up to about hip height. Draw your heel into your bottom. Dial the right hip down. You can hold it right here and stay. If you would prefer, if you would like, for a little variation, take your left hand, reach it around and capture your foot. Kick into your foot, gaze over your left shoulder. When you're ready, finish up. Right knee meets left, left hand comes down on the mat. We've got another side to do. Lift your left knee up, up, up. Bring it to about hip height. Maybe you stay right here. If this is where you want to stay, that's good and fine. Breathe. Maybe draw your heel a little closer to your bottom. Right hand reaches around and captures your left foot. Kick into the hand. Right shoulder goes up toward the sky. Maybe you look over your right shoulder as you enjoy the kick. When you're ready, finish up. Hand comes down, knee comes down. Do a cycle of cat-cow as you bring awareness to your movement. Tuck your chin to your chest, tailbone under, push into the earth. Inhale, cow, tailbone and crown of the head lifts. Come back to a neutral tabletop, thread the needle pose. You may wish to reintroduce a block to your practice. From your neutral tabletop, lift your right arm high, look up to the fingers, and then when you're ready, sweep the right arm down underneath the left shoulder, down to the block, or to the mat. Left arm reaches forward, right arm reaches to the left side of your room. Adjust your knees and your hips because everybody's height is different. Soften in the bottom shoulder, reach through the fingers, breathe. When you're ready, take an inhale and unthread the needle. Left arm slips back underneath the shoulder, right arm sweeps up, up, up to the sky, and then finish. Right hand comes down. We have another side to do. Lift your left arm up, up, up to the sky, look up to it, thread the needle on this side. Left arm comes under right, Right arm slides to the top, head comes down to the block on the left cheek or left ear. Left arm reaches to the right side of your room. Big breath in, big breath out. This is your thread the needle. As you're ready, let's finish. Right arm comes under shoulder, left arm goes back up to the sky, look up to the fingers, and then finish. Neutral tabletop. One cycle of cat-cow, because you're an expert at it now. And then let's finish. Let's come down to a toes pose. And you can find a block or no block at all. Tuck your toes to your shins. You're gonna have 2 blocks nearby. You could place a block behind your feet and settle in to your toes pose. All right, toes pose is intense. Adjust it and make it work. Just don't quit. You know, there's lots of layers, lots of ways to take it. Just don't quit, adjust. All right, so shoulders are back over your hips. Maybe you settle in here. Hands can be on your thighs, or because we've worked so much with the shoulders, maybe bring your hands behind your low back, reach for opposite elbow creases, and take your ragdoll pose in the arms. Eyes are closed, shoulders are soft, stretch out your feet. Your foundation, nice and strong. We're gaining flexibility and mobility in our entire body today. You do that every day when you do your yoga. Just feel it and believe it. Think about the flexibility because you're challenging your range of motion. All right, the arms, let's come out of them. Circle the wrists, wiggle the fingers, toes pose. Let's come out of it. Remove the block from behind your bottom. Put the tops of your feet onto your mat. Knees are together. You're resting on the tops of your feet with your bottom on your heels as best you can. Maybe use the blocks to bring the ground up to you and let your knees come on up. What you're doing here is you're stretching your ankles in the opposite direction. Nice and controlled because you're pushing into the blocks and making it as intense as you want. Knees can come higher, knees a little bit lower. Maybe you're mastering this. Maybe your hands are on your mat. No blocks, that's fine. Just kind of feel the stretch and the movement in the ankles. Kind of an unnatural position that you don't do often, right? Not every day you move it this way, but you're increasing the range of motion in your ankles. All right, so maybe you want to challenge your balance a little bit. You can bring your hands to prayer center. Knees are still lifted, and you're balancing on the tops of your feet. You can do it. You decide how you want to do it. That's the ticket, and everybody's different. Finish up, come back to a seated position. In a seated position, let your legs go long, toes up to the sky. Find your blocks and have them nearby. Toes up to the sky. Let's spread our legs wide. Legs spread wide. Blocks come between your legs. How wide do you spread your legs? It's up to you. How far do you want to go? How far can you go? Challenge yourself. Maybe toes are a little bit lifted. We're going to challenge ourselves in a little bit too with a different variation of a plank. All right, that's just a teaser. Okay. All right, legs spread wide. Maybe help them out. Hands to the inner thighs. Maybe spread them a little bit wider. Blocks in front of you at whatever height. Just take this wide-legged forward fold, bringing your forearms down, lengthening through the crown of your head, and bringing your chest toward the blocks. Just take a few breaths here. No rush, no hurry. Just feel what you feel. Take the time to just lengthen in those adductor muscles inside your thighs. Adjust your blocks so they feel right for you. And it doesn't have to be your head on the blocks. Maybe you've got the blocks out a little farther and you've got your hands on them. You know, you take it to the depth that is calling you today. Big breath in and big breath out. Now here's a pose I want you to remember, because we're going to do some standing in a little bit. But if you opt to not do the standing, you might want to come back to this pose, this wide-legged forward fold, to work on the good feeling inside your inner thighs. Let's come out of it now. Shoulders over your hips. Remove your blocks. Put them aside. Now you could find your resistance band if you like. We're going to do bicycle, and you could tie the resistance band around your feet to make the bicycle pose a little more challenging. If you don't have one or don't want to use it, you're good. All right, let's come back to fully reclined. Fully reclined, bend your knees. Bring your knees up over your hips and your shins parallel to the earth. Arms can be down by your sides, and you're going to start to pedal through your heels. Little bit of a challenge if you've got that band, isn't it? It just kicks it up a notch. So whenever you want to do it, you know, when we're doing a practice and we do bicycle, we do it a lot. Maybe you use the band often. You could also peel your shoulders up, arms down by your sides, that's fine. Or bend your elbows, bringing your fingers lightly behind your ears, and alternate having opposite elbow touch opposite knee, while the other leg is still pedaling and extending through your variation of bicycle. One more little variation is the scissor kick. That's when the legs are straight. Do what feels right. And then finish. Maybe take your band off, legs go long, arms go high overhead. Stretch it out in your stick pose. Maybe wiggle one hand up to the top of the mat a little more than the other, and then take the other hand. And do the same thing. Breathe. Finish up, find stillness, point through your toes, reach through your fingers. Let's do boat pose. Arms come down by your sides. Press on up, and there's some variations here. Use the strap or the band if you like. If you use the strap, or the resistance band, you're working on little micro movements, keeping the feet lifted. If you use the band, or the strap, you're working on more stability. You can also take it on your forearms. Band, strap, you decide, or down to your forearms. Lift the legs up, 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 and hold them here. The variation I'm going to take today is a full boat. So you're going to lift the legs. Hands can be behind the thighs. Lift the chest too. That's an important part of it. Gaze is forward. You can hold your hands behind your thighs. Remember, strap for stability, resistance band for trying to embrace those little micro movements. Lift my arms up and hold. Breathe in your boat pose. Maybe you're on your forearms. It's all good. Finish. Legs come down. Soles of the feet on the mat. Tighten up, bringing the heels up toward the groin and the forearms wrapped around the shins. Bring your forehead to your knees. Hollow out your belly. Maybe do a little more balancing. Press on up, off of the toes, curled up into a little ball. Maybe circle the ankles in one direction and the other. Feet come down. Let's do our 1 minute challenge. All right, I'm gonna grab a drink of water first. We're gonna do a plank. And just about every practice, every day, we do a 1 minute plank. The timer is set for you to measure yourself, and just you. If you do 2 seconds today, that's great, because maybe tomorrow you'll do 5, and before you know it, you'll be up to a minute or going even longer. But it's important. Plank is one of the best poses because it builds strength in your entire body because everything's engaged. All right, come on. Let's take the variation you like. Real quick, you can go down to a neutral tabletop, knees spread wide. You could hinge yourself forward like those little frog push-ups. You could stay right here. You could also send your knees back further, more parallel to each other. Hands walk more forward, hinging the weight forward, bringing shoulders over wrists, and hold here. You could tuck your back feet under. You could press on up to a high plank. You could bring down the forearms if that feels better on your wrists, staying on your knees or popping up through the legs. You decide. Today, I'm gonna take a crouching tiger. Crouching tiger, we also call it kind of a bear plank. Gonna set a minute timer. You do what you can, and let's go. Are you ready? Let's go. Come into position for a bear plank. Crouching tiger, toes are tucked to the shins. Just gonna lift the knees up a little bit, having my shoulders over my wrist. Timer, go. All right, so here we are in your variation of a plank. 1 minute, and guess what? You're already 5 seconds in. Hold it, take a break when you need it. And you know your breaks, even just a couple second break, you're already 10 seconds in. You're already 20 seconds in. What am I saying? All right, so here's the deal. You hold it as long as is right for you. Take your little breaks by just dropping down to your knees for a second or two. All right, we are into this, aren't we? We are well over halfway there. Hold it here. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Push into your strong arms. Your arms are stronger than you think. Hold on here. 40 seconds in, 20 seconds to go. Take a break if you need it. Breathe deeply. You got it. 15 seconds to go. Push. You got it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Come on down. How did you do? Stay longer if you want. That was a minute. Oh my goodness. Did you do it, Tammy? How about you, Stan, Liz, Esther, Kelly, Rena, Tim, Margaret, Canal, Blake, Kristen, Margaret, Louise, Kelly, Steve. I'm glad you guys are here. All right, so got your breath? Nice job. Come back to pentacle pose. Now, enjoy getting here. Brief little reset. Down to your bottom, legs spread wide, arms high overhead. Breathe, you deserve it. In fact, you deserve it so much. You could stay here in this pentacle pose. I remember when we did that wide-legged forward fold, and I said, remember this pose, because if you want to go back to that in a moment, that would be a great pose for you to get into. Right now, in your pentacle pose, we're going to just breathe a little bit longer, and then I'm going to move into standing. Got about 4 standing poses today. But if standing today isn't what you want to do, stay here or go into the pose of your choice. All right, time for me to stand. Legs back to the midline of the body. Hands come down to the side and then press on up. Come on up to a standing position and bring your block with you. Here's that intense calf stretch that I mentioned. All right, so we're just going to do this for a second or two. How do you feel after that crouching tiger? I promise you're stronger. All right, so the block. Place it on your mat. Place one foot, the ball of it, onto the block. You can use that half height too, remember. And then bring the heel on down. All right, you know here, adjust it so it's right for you. Make it more intense. Bring your upper body closer to the front wall. Just stretch it out. Stretch out that calf. How does it feel? You know, you could do this a lot throughout your day. No timer today for this. So when you stretch this out, take some deep breaths, and let's be at peace here for about 2 cycles of breath. How are you doing? Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Time to switch to the other leg. All right, press the ball of this foot into the block. Bring the heel on down. You can see how a half height block might be kind of nice if this is just too much. Maybe bring the chest a little more forward, or you maybe bring it a little more back. All right, how's it doing? Hello to Betty and Joy and Evelyn and Vera and Eddie and Roger and Yvette. How are you? I'm glad you're here. All right, how's it doing? A couple of breaths. Want to give it equal time. Oh, you know, do this throughout your day. Like when you're brushing your teeth or at your counter or your sink, you could push your foot into the wall, right? Finish up. Let's come to standing. How does it feel? Let's do a brief tree pose. Root into both feet. Bend your right knee. Bring the right knee to the side of the room. Bring the heel inside the left ankle, or slip it on up to the calf, or slip it on up even higher to the thigh. Just don't put it, you know where, on the knee. Adjust your hips so they are equidistant to the front of your room. Drive the back knee drive the right knee, the back of the, start again. Let's drive the outside of the right knee to the back of the room. Hands to prayer center. Look up to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Soften in your shoulders. Your strong left leg has you. Grow your branches if you like and sway them. Finish up, hands back to a prayer position. Guide the knee to the front of the room. Right foot meets left on the mat. Another side, lucky us. Root through the right leg. Open up the left. Take it to wherever is right for you. And you know, a chair or leaning against the wall, it's all good. Find your foundation. Find the strength in that standing leg. And find your variation of tree. Hi, Nancy. I'm glad that you are here. It's always a good day when you are joining us for yoga. When you're ready, grow your branches. Look up, up, up to the sky. Breathe. And then finish. Hands back to prayer center. Just kind of marvel at that balance you got going on. It's good. Acknowledge the goodness. Guide the knee to the front of the room. Plant the left foot next to the right. Let's do a one-legged mountain, but let's hold it for a little bit. Root back into that left leg. Right leg, lift it up, up, up. Knee to hip height, so your thigh is parallel to the earth. Lift your arms on up. There's your mountain part. Draw the toes toward the shin. Take a deep breath in as you imagine the crown of your head lifting up. Find space in your hips. Hold it here, root into that foundational foot. You've got it, you're strong, don't give up, and if you fall out, get right on back in. No big deal. No big deal, so what? Finish up, hands to prayer center, right knee comes down, time to do the left. Lift the left leg up, knee to hip height, thigh parallel to the earth, toes drawn to the shin, arms join in the fun too, they lift. Little softness in your standing knee, micro wiggles in your right foot, lengthen out of your fingers, focus. Your gaze is right straight ahead. Nothing else matters. You got to concentrate on this, right? Breathe. Kind of nice to just be in the present moment, concentrating, focusing, not worrying about stuff that doesn't matter. When you're ready, hands to prayer center. Foot comes down. Take a deep breath in. And a deep shoulder softening breath out. Fold forward. Fold forward. Capture your calves with your hands. We're going to go meet everybody else on the mat in just a moment. Let your gaze come to maybe your ankles, maybe up, up, up the calf, maybe to your knee, maybe even up to your belly button. Hold on to your calves. Your hands are back here. Elbows are hugged in. Fold in half. Hollow out your belly. Breathe. Crown of the head toward the earth. Nice fold like a paper clip. Good on you. Move your body. Finish up. Hands come down. Big bend in the knees. Come on down. Now, whatever pose you are in, if you went to a child's pose maybe, or if you were in pentacle or in that wide-legged forward fold, come on down and let's all come onto our bellies and take a crocodile pose. So onto your belly, bend your elbows, place one hand on top of the other, legs kind of a little bit spread, not a lot, not a little, just, whatever's comfortable. Hands are stacked. Place your forehead on your stacked hands, elbows reach to the sides of the room and then up a little higher to the top of your mat. So find some space there. Head rests on your hands. Big breath in, big breath out. Let's do a crocodile lift in the upper body. So keep your forehead glued to your top hand. Take a big exhale. And on the inhale, lift the hands and the head as if they're one. Lift them on up. Elbows wide to the side of the room. Press into your tops of your feet as best you can. Hold it here. Maybe lift a little higher. Hold it. Crocodile pose. Come on down. Take a breath or two, and we'll do it again. On an inhale, one piece in the head and the hands. Lift, lift, lift. Hold it. And then come on down. Come on down. Forehead to your hands. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Time for Superman. All right, unbend the elbows, straighten them, reach your hands to the top of the mat. Think of Superman flying through the air. Head is down. Maybe you lift one leg, then the other, or both legs, and find yourself almost balancing on your pelvis. Strengthen the low back here. You can keep alternating. You can stay right here if you like. Maybe legs come down and you decide to do it in the arms. One arm lifts, then the other, or both. Maybe you put it all together. As you take a big exhale, letting it all go, then a big inhale, lifting up. All your limbs are up. You're gazing down your nose. You're flying like Superman. Hold it here. Breathe. Find length. Strengthen the spine. Hold on. You got it. Breathe. Whenever you need to, you can come on down, or if you'd like to hold it a little bit longer, hold it. Come on, you can do it. You're strong. You did plank. You can do Superman. When you're ready, sweep your arms down. Keep your legs lifted. Sweep your arms down, palms face down, fingers toward your feet. Lift a little more out of the chest as you take an airplane pose. When you're ready, reach again, Superman fly. When you're ready, reach the arms back, fingers toward your feet. Now, another variation, a little locust variation. Take your hands, interlace them behind your low back. Work your thumbs away from your low back. Lift. Hold it, lift, and finish. Come on down, arms down by your sides. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Bend your hands, bend your elbows. Place your hands under your collarbones. Press on up into a seal pose. Don't clench your bottom. Soften in the bottom. Let it go. Find space in your hips. Breathe. Press on up to a camel pose. For a camel pose, you want to have your knees. Stand on your knees, hips over your knees, shoulders over your hips, hands to your low back, gentle little camel. Squeeze your elbows together, look up to the sky, maybe where the ceiling and the wall meet. Maybe take it up overhead. Not much further today. We did a full camel yesterday. Focus today on lifting the chest and squeezing the elbows toward your spine. Finish up. How are you doing? Let's come down to a seated position. Legs go long, toes up to the sky. Lift your arms up, up, up to the sky, and then reach those parallel arms forward. Release in the low back. How does that feel? Toes up toward the sky, arms reaching. Take a breath or two here. As you inhale, you kind of come up a little bit, and as you exhale, maybe you can reach 1/10 of an inch farther. Breathe, find the shoulder space. Find the length in the arms. Find space in your belly to reach farther. And then reach your hands down, capture what you can capture. Maybe today it's your calves, maybe tomorrow it'll be your wrists, maybe next month you can drape your hands over your feet. Have the palms of your hands touch your sole of your foot, and then bring your forehead toward your knees. Breathe, and then finish. Press on up, shoulders over your hips. Find your 2 blocks, your eye shade, and your towel. Bring those, the eye shade and towel up near the top of your mat. Let's do bridge pose. Bend your knees, come on down. Feet on the mat, underneath the knees. Arms down by your sides. Press on up through your hips. Feet are pressed into the mat. Hips are nice and lifted. Wiggle your shoulders closer to your spine. Arms down by your sides. Now, the 2 blocks. Find them, keep your hips lifted. You're going to place the blocks at a stable height, side by side, underneath your bottom. So slip them down there and bring your bottom down onto the block. Nice big surface. So spread your bottom out. Let it feel good. Send your legs long on your mat. Feel here how this feels. This is a pontoon pose. You want to feel the nice stretch in your hip flexors in the front of your hips. If this doesn't feel right, you got to adjust the blocks. So maybe they need to go a little bit higher, or maybe a little bit lower. You make it work for you. Figure out where the sweet spot is. All right. Tee out your arms and rest here. Big breath in and big breath out. Soften in your bottom, let it go. You can stay right here if you like. Pontoon is always a great pose to feel so good in the front of your hips. Maybe that's what you need today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reclined pigeon. So I'm going to bend my knees, Pressing the soles of the feet into my mat, lifting up off of those blocks and scooting them aside. I'm going to bring my bottom back down, one vertebra at a time, tailbone down last. My knees are already bent, so I've got a head start. Lift the right leg up, outside of the right ankle on top of the left thigh. I'm going to bring my left heel up closer to my bottom, and with my hands, I'm going to press my inner right thigh open. Breathe here. Inner right thigh is open. I'm going to lift my left leg up, drawing my left knee closer to my chest. I really feel it in my glutes. Maybe you do too. You could use a towel or you could use your hands to reach behind your hamstring and hug the knee in. You're hugging the left knee in while driving the outside of the right knee out. Bring the left foot down and then the right foot down. Let's take it to the other side. Left leg lifts, outside of the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Press the inner left thigh open, and maybe that is where you want to be today. Nobody's judging you. Most importantly, don't judge yourself. But if you'd like, lift the right leg up. Ooh, feel that intensify there. All right, so you can take those hands again, or the towel, place it behind your right hamstring, kind of near the knee, and hug it on in. Place the right foot down. Place the left foot down to meet it. Send your hips high. Bridge pose. One more time. High, high, high in the hips. Roll the spine down one vertebra at a time. Happy baby. And then final Shavasana. Left knee bends. Left hand goes under the left knee to hug it into the left armpit. Right knee bends and lifts. Right hand under the right knee. Hug it into the armpit. Rock from side to side. How does that feel? If you would like, you could take little circles and draw circles with your knees on the ceiling, or take your hands inside the calves and hold on here and rock back and forth. If you want, reach for your heels. Reach for your heels. Capture your heels. Send one leg up to the sky. Bring it on back down with a big bend in the knee, and then send the other leg up to the sky and alternate. First time's always the hardest. First time in this pose every day, it feels like, oh, I got to get my balance. And then you do. You just do. So stretching and bending, one leg, one knee, happy baby. Let's finish up. Release your hands. Knees meet at the midline of your body. Knees bend. Legs come down long on your mat. Final Shavasana. A lot like Pentacle, but very peaceful. Feet spread a little bit, pinky toes fall to the earth. That feels good in the hips, doesn't it? Wiggle around a little bit. Your eye shade, glad we pre-positioned it. Place it on your eyes, maybe use the towel to cover your eyes. Arms down by your sides, eyes closed, wiggle your shoulders, get comfortable here, and breathe deeply. Deep breath in and deep breath out. As you exhale, soften in your shoulders. Find heaviness in the body, in the limbs. Find softness between your eyebrows. And let your eyes rest heavily in the eye sockets. Breath is deep and peaceful. With each exhale, your shoulders are going to soften even more. Unclench your jaws if your teeth are touching. And even let let your tongue go. It's probably pressing into the roof of your mouth. Let it go. In and deep breath out. If you can stay longer in your final Shavasana pose, just push that mute button on the TV and breathe. If it's time for you to conclude your hour, begin by wiggling your fingers and toes ever so slightly and being aware of that movement. Increase the movement in the fingers and toes. Work it on up into the feet and the hands and the wrists and the ankles. Maybe turn your head from left to right. Nice little skull massage as your head comes in contact with the mat. Maybe turn your head a little bit more to each side. And then come back to the midline of your body. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Soften and lengthen through your neck and the shoulders. Relax. When you're ready, reach high overhead. Take a big stretch like it's the first stretch in the morning. Point your toes to the bottom of the room. Feel that all the way up your leg. Reach one arm to the top of your mat, then the other arm to the top of your mat, like we did in several poses today. Just find length in your side body. Finish up, bring your hands down by your side, bring your knees to a bent position as you roll onto one side or the other into a fetal position. Low arms bicep is a pillow for your head and your eyes are closed. Top shoulder softens, deep breath in and deep breath out. Take another deep cycle of breath. And savor this moment because it'll never come again. Breathe deeply and enjoy. Take a deep breath in and float on up. Lift on up. Come on up to however is comfortable for you. Take a seated position that you like. Hands to prayer center. Press your thumbs slightly into your chest. Soften in your shoulders. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. Tuck your chin to your chest. Bring your ears back just a little bit more over the shoulders. Take a deep breath in because you can. And take a deep breath out. Shoulders are soft and you feel the foundation beneath your body. You are now more flexible. You are now more mobile. You are now stronger than you were when we first began. Blink your eyes open. You did it. Congratulations. Turn your obstacles into opportunities and your problems into possibilities as you go on and have a great day. Stress number, what was it? What is it? Excellent. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hi, how are you? Where's Bonnie? There we go, the whole crew's here. Have a good day. Bye. Oh, that's the buzzword this week. Be thankful for what you have. I am thankful that you are here doing your yoga with me, allowing me to do yoga with you. So many things to be thankful about. Focus on the positive. Focus on thanks. All right, our yoga is free for anybody and everybody. You know that. Don't stop during the holidays. Keep at it. You need it. You need it. It helps alleviate the stress and just helps keep you in the game, keep you in the present moment. Tell your friends about our yoga. They can join in too. All they got to do is go on Facebook or on YouTube. It's free for anybody and everybody. If you'd like to support our broadcast, you can go to our website. It's www.316yoga.com. Thanks for being here. I'm thankful for yoga and I'm thankful for you. See you on your mat tomorrow. tomorrow.